and welcome back to my channel, TorAthena, where today I am doing a spoiler-filled review of Captain Marvel. I say review, it's pretty much just my opinion after watching a movie. So not a review. But I have just come back from the midnight viewing of Captain Marvel, so it is now currently 3:05 AM. I am very tired, so I apologise that if that shows right now, but it is 3 AM. But I've just come back from the cinema and I thought now would probably be the best time to talk about the film, as I've just watched it and I always really want to discuss a film that I've just watched, so why not try and make some money out of it? So pretty much if you've seen any of the reviews I do on here, you know that I don't really review the film. I write notes when I watch it and then I read them notes out. And that's what I did with this movie, shock horror. But first off, I just want to say that I loved this film. It's not a perfect film, no. Is it the best Marvel film? No. Is it a fun film? Yes. So here's what I thought about the movie. So the intro, where I usually flip through all the comics as it makes the whole Marvel sign, was just loads of images of Stan, and then it said thank you Stan. That got to me, and at 3 AM where I'm a little delusional, it got to me more. It just really annoyed me that she woke up in the middle of the night from a nightmare and she had perfect hair. Like, that's how we're introduced to her, as a woman with unattainable hair goals. That is not what I want in my superhero. The very beginning of the film where it introduces her in, the alien world, I have to admit was very, very samey. It's every sci-fi superhero film that we've seen to this day. There's an alien race, they're at war with another alien race, it's all high tech, it's all different colours. It was close to boring, if I'm honest. It was very close to boring. It was boring enough that I had time to comment on it, saying that it's just very samey. But it also was important. It wasn't there just for some filler. It introduced the world she was in. It highlighted who was at war. It highlighted what the enemies could do, which was clone DNA. It highlighted a lot of things without being exciting. So it was important. I understand that they did it, and I also will comment that I don't think they pushed it too long, but the actual enjoyment of the film didn't start until she landed on Earth, for me. However, I think the bit where it's showing her memories and you can hear them talking through it, I thought that was brilliant. I thought that was really clever and I liked that. It was at that moment where I started to try and guess what was happening in the film and work along with it, and it was good. I thought the overall look of the film was just beautiful. I thought everything was gorgeous, like from her memories, looking out onto the air hangar, sitting on a car, to the glowing cities, to pretty much everything was done beautifully, and so many were straight cut images from the comic books, which just, I have to admit I haven't read a lot, if any, Captain Marvel comics, but I owned a comic shop. I came through them a lot. I saw images of them a lot, and even I could be like, oh, that's a copy, I like that. I also thought Carol Danvers's character was a bit stiff. Just like the film, it took a while to warm up to her. When she first wakes up and she's like, let's fight, and she's like, I can't sleep, or else I'd be sleeping. It shows that she has a sense of humor, but she's also very stiff and it's a bit jarring. And when she says a one-liner quip when she's like, oh, you don't suppose you know how to take these things off my hands? What? No, okay. Like, the delivery is really poor. But as the film went on, I totally forgot that she had this stiff moment. She got so comfortable being this quick talking, badass, fighting, never giving up hero. And I don't know if she's awkward on purpose because she's obviously not herself and she's still trying to figure things out, or it was actually just kind of bad editing or bad performance that just was not done later on in the film. However, from the very beginning, it shows that she could be quite possibly the baddest badass that I know, especially in the female superhero world, especially for Marvel. When she's fighting with her hands restrained, it shows that she is very good at fighting. It shows she's a very quick thinker. When she blows a hole in the wall and they all get sucked out, and she first then uses her powers to propel her forward, she's a quick thinker. She's a clever girl. She's did I just Jurassic Park her then? But she's smart, she's quick thinking, she's fast on her feet, she's tough, and you're getting all of this in like the first couple of scenes. I'm struggling to remember scenes when the scrolls came out of the sea. I just had this flashback of so many other superhero films. Like, why do so many people come out of the sea at the moment? They did it with Aquaman, they did it with Wonder Woman, and I'm sure they did it with some other hero films, and I feel like I'm watching a bad episode of X on the Beach. You might not get that joke, my housemate didn't, and it probably means you're a better person than me. Stan's cameo, where she just smiles and nods at him with this knowing nod, like, you're good, you know, you're not bad, I can tell. I don't know if that's going to be his final one or they'd already filmed the Avengers one, but it's the second cameo I've seen since his passing, and I just don't think I'm ever not going to be sad when I see them. In this film, it also had one of the first times I think I've ever seen it done where civilians actually interact, which I found made it a lot more realistic, because when Carol Danvers is fighting the old lady Skrull, people stop her. They're like, no, you can't hit this old woman. And to be honest, I'm really surprised that's never happened before. Now, I know a lot of the fighting is like high stakes, big bombs shooting pew pew pew, and like civilians aren't gonna get in the way of that, but when there's just like normal two people fighting, why has no one ever tried to stop it? Like, at all we know, it's just two people brawling. Why have they never tried to stop that? I didn't write this in my notes, but I do kind of want to say it, that I think that every actor was perfect except for Jude Law. I can't find anything wrong with his character. He played his character well, but there was just something unsettling about him. But then again, his character was unsettling, so maybe he was kind of perfectly cast. I don't know, I just kind of found Jude Law stuck out uncomfortably for me. I don't know, and I actually like Jude Law, so there's actually nothing against him as an actor or person, but I don't know if that was the right casting choice. It was really good to see Nick Fury in this, and it was really good to see him in his younger self. I made a prediction, which I'm not even going to bother putting in anywhere because there wasn't really much of a prediction. All I said was I was kind of going in the film blind, but I was expecting to see a young Nick Fury, as I knew that him and Carol Danvers had a very close relationship. And it was really good to see him in action. It was really good to see Agent Coulson in his younger start to his career. That was really good, and I totally fell in deep into that whole relationship quickly. I was invested straight away. The chemistry between Fury and Carol Danvers was just really good. I felt like from the moment they start talking and smiling and having that banter, it was perfect. You could just see this beautiful relationship blossoming, and I loved it. I know two people who adore this film, and I mean, like, I think it meant more to them than most superhero films mean to us combined. And one of them, Sean, when we went to go see Avengers, we saw the end credits where Nick Fury dials Captain Marvel. He had to sit there for 10 minutes with his head in his hand and just collect himself. That's how much just that 3 seconds of seeing her logo on screen meant to him. At first we just thought, oh, it's cool, it's introducing Captain Marvel, and he kind of broke it down to us. The world was ending, Fury was vanishing. He had seconds to make one decision to save the planet, and without hesitation he picked up this pager and called Captain Marvel. He didn't know who was here and who wasn't, but he knew she was their best chance. Out of every hero he knew, she was still the best to him. It really got to me when he sold it to me from that way, and with that in mind, you can watch this film and really believe that. You can see the respect that he has for Carol even after this film, even during this film. It's just beautiful. There were certain things about this film that did kind of annoy me though. One thing that kind of annoyed me is that the Skrulls were really aggressive at one point, and they were aggressive because we think they're the bad guys, so they have to be aggressive. So they come into the sea, they attack Carol Danvers, or is that because they didn't realize she was good, or did they realize she was good? But either way, they're attacking her, and then they are changing into Secret Shield bosses so they can attack everyone, and then all of a sudden they just kind of turn up and like, hey, we're friends. we're friends, we come in peace, let's sort this out. And I might be just tired and I might have missed something. Please comment below if I have. But I just felt that was a very jarring transition. It wasn't well written in my eyes that it was a misunderstood feud. And I get it, they are enemies, and you know, we believed only one side because of the propaganda that they put across to us, which is a very important lesson for everyone in real life to remember that. But I feel like they could have done it a little bit better when the Skrulls was pretending to be Fury's boss. He could have been saying like, look, I don't want to fight, and then Fury's like, somehow I don't believe you, because he thinks the aliens are the bad guys, and then they start shooting and then he fights to defend himself. I would have believed that. But it just went in for a very aggressive attack, and Andrew was like, well, they're already in the middle of a war. They probably just see enemies now. And I get that, but I do just think it was a little bit jarring to go from this aggressive enemy to, I've realized you're not like them and we're friends. That was my biggest problem with this film. And I can let it go, but it wasn't the best. Fury stopping to pet a cat is the most relatable thing I think we've ever seen on television ever. I don't know if it's in the comic, and that's kind of annoying. Sometimes I should research before I go and watch a comic book movie, but I found it a little on the nose that the film was about a woman being called emotional and how she had to overcome that. And because obviously that's something women have to fight a lot, is like, we are called emotional where men would be passionate. I don't know if they did that because that's what it actually is in the comic, or it was because it was like, oh, you know, she's a female character and she has to have this, you know, this very clear narrative that we call women emotional, and it's kind of like laughing at the whole, you know, joke. I don't really know how to word it, but I did find it, a part of me liked it as a narrative and a part of me didn't like it as a narrative. I found it was a bit too on the nose of the whole, yeah. And that's not me slamming on the like feminist agenda. Like, I'm a feminist. Anyone who believes that men and women are equal are feminists. But it was just, I don't know, I shouldn't do these reviews at 3 AM. The CGI actually wasn't half bad. I usually watch a lot of these superhero films. To be fair, they're usually DC, and I'll be like, the CGI is so bad. I don't really need to ever comment that with a Marvel movie. There was only one scene where I actually thought, ooh, that's a little, it's not great. And it's where Carol's falling back into the Earth's atmosphere, and that's how she kind of calms down and like learns how to fly. But she's also glowing, so I don't know if it was just because she's glowing it made her look computerized. But I don't know, that was literally it. Everything else looked fantastic. Now, although I had a problem with how they revealed that the bad guy was the good guy and the good guy was the bad guy, I actually like that story. I think it's an important story for us to be telling at the moment, that we are all believing a certain level of propaganda. You know, we are always on the good side of any war because it's our side. Of course, we're the good guys. And it's a very important lesson to question everything. Don't believe everything you read. You know, and I did like that. That was good writing that I personally wasn't expecting. If it's in the comic books, you probably were. I just want to sum up the final thoughts of what I thought about the movie. Was the film itself wasn't perfect. The film itself was very, very fun, and I really liked virtually all the characters in it. But the thing that I liked the most was that Carol Danvers was human, and her power wasn't necessarily having all this power that shot through her from the core or whatever it was. It was that she never gave up. No matter how many times she fell down, no matter how many times she got knocked down and how many times she got belittled by anyone, she always got up. And it kind of just hit a very raw nerve with me, because it was something my dad always said to me. He's just like, that is life. When you get knocked down, you have to get back up. And so I probably related to her very hard on that. And I also feel like she was the first superhero that wasn't sexualized, or first female hero that wasn't sexualized. Like, people loved Wonder Woman. She was incredible, and it was a great movie, and she was wearing very accurate stuff to comic books, but it was still a gorgeous actress with this incredible figure in these very short skirts or beautiful dining gowns, and Black Widow is oozing sexuality. Like, let's face it, if you're gonna get Scarlett Johansson to play anything, it's gonna be sexualized, sexy. she's sexy. There's been this meme that's going around at the moment where it shows Captain Marvel's butt in a comic and how Brie Larson's is meant to be like flat, and Thanos says reality is often disappointing, and I find that kind of annoying. I get the joke, oh, it all fits really well, but it is once again sexualizing this superhero that doesn't need to be sexualized. So she doesn't have a bum, or doesn't matter. I mean, she has a bum, but so she doesn't have a big round bum, does it matter? She's still saving the world, and she'd kick your ass for looking at her ass anyway. She never shows a lot of cleavage, and you don't see an ass shot until 3/4 of the way through the film, and it's more focused on the other person anyway. That was like the closest I ever got to see her butt. Her outfit, although awesome, is also not like this latex fitting thing. It's a very practical, padded, little bit unflattering at times suit, although it does look amazing. And a helmet, I think we can admit, is not a sexy helmet. Can you get a sexy helmet? And I liked that. I liked that this character isn't using sexuality in any way, because that's not what her character's about. And using sexuality is also not a bad thing, but I think it's important to have both. Have your sexualized characters, have your sexy characters, but also have characters that don't need to be sexy, because there's more to her than that. And both are very equally acceptable and fine, but it meant something to me that Carol Danvers wasn't. I'm sorry, I don't know what jump cut that's gonna make. I started getting a bit too real about why Carol just means something to me, but it does. The fact she's not sexualized in the usual way, it does mean something to me, and I can relate to that. And instead, she's just busy kicking ass, and that was one of the things the film did do very well, was her progression into power. Usually there's like in any origin there's usually like the receiving of the power, the discovery of said power, the montage of harnessing that power, and then the power. That didn't really happen with Captain Marvel, because Captain Marvel already had the power at the beginning, but throughout the entire film are gradual learning curves. Like, she never stops learning. There isn't this moment where she just goes, ah, I have it. It's a gradual thing. As an example, she has the power, and then she makes a hole and she gets jetted into space, and then she uses her power to propel her back into the ship. I have a feeling the way she did that was her first discovery of, oh, I could do that and propel myself. And it shows she's quick thinking, and it shows that she's learning. And then obviously in the next step, she's learning how to control her anger, and she's strong and does this and does that. And then in the next one, she unlocks a lot of power. In the next one, she gets calm and she discovers she can fly. And I might have missed a couple of points out, but from what I'm trying to say is throughout the entire film, she's always learning. And I loved that as well, because I just don't usually see that a lot in films. Yeah, so I'm really tired, and I'm actually working at a con tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday, so I need to get this edited and I need to go to sleep. And I'm sorry if I've missed loads of stuff out, but I am deliriously tired. It's now 3:30 AM and I need to edit this and get going. But thank you so much for watching this video. Please comment below, what did you think of Captain Marvel? Did you like it just as much? I cannot wait to hear people's opinions on this film, and it's why I do these videos, because I love talking about stuff that I love. So please comment below what you thought of it. Don't forget to give this video a like, because it helps out the channel. Subscribe if you like geeky videos, and I will not see you tomorrow, but the next. Bye.